So, good afternoon, book brewers. Thank you for coming to the first Zoom meeting in 2024. So, welcome back. Welcome back for me as well. Feels like a re-debuting with book brewers. So, today is Saturday the 13th. I hope it's gonna bring such a good luck for every one of us. So, to open up what's going to happen here in 2024 with book brewers. So far we have 7 titles of books that we would like to discuss about. And since there are four of us at the moment, shall we start with Donald then? Is it okay if you start with the Money Changes Everything by William Goodsman? Is it correct? Is it correct how I pronounce
Yes, yes.
Goodsman? So basically,
I'm not sure.
sorry. So basically, well, just think just like the usual, the title of the book, what it's about, and then what makes you interested to read the book, and then what are the good points, and you can also share the not so good points about the book that you'd like to share with us. So, Donald, please, then you can start.
Okay, thank you, Diaz. Good afternoon, everyone. So the book that I would like to present, the title is Money Changes Everything. And the book is about maybe first why I interested to read the book, because I'm interested in history in general, and one of them is history of finance. I already read a book about it in the past, but this book is deeper than the previous book that I read. So actually, this book is not a popular book. It is published by Princeton University, not a book by famous publisher or popular readers, but and not so many reviews. But I found this book to be deeper and more comprehensive than other books that I read on this topic. So that's why, despite its being quite thick, 500 more pages, so it's quite a lot of time investment for me to read this book, but I decided to read it to the end because I believe it will be worth it, and yes, it is worth it. So that's the background why I choose to read this book, and some key points or takeaways from the book is financial technologies enable many things in our civilization. So the first financial technology enables cities to be built, because previously in earlier human history, people they became hunter gatherers. They didn't dwell in cities, only in villages. To enable people to gather in a densely populated area called cities requires financial technologies, because now you cannot use reciprocity or bartering. So there has to be new ways of interacting with others, and this happens throughout the civilization, starting from cities and then empires. For example, it talks about the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire could become an empire because of its financial technologies. And fast forward to the Middle Ages, China was able to manage this empire because of financial technology. And then in the exploration era, they explore continents and oceans. And this exploration were enabled by financial technologies as well, such as corporation, the stock market, and so on. And that happens until today. So the points of this book is financial technology is an enabler of many things in our civilization. And for me, it is useful because it gives me the background information and why the things that we have today are required, or how they came to be, like stock market and bonds and loans and paper money and so many other financial instruments, why they are needed when they happen and their position in history and the world that we live in. Right? So those are the key points for the book. So I think that's it. Back to DS.
So any particular quotes that brings like a aha moment for you regarding money changes everything?
I don't have prepared, so I will have to look for it.
So okay, because you've mentioned that this is the one that's been published by Princeton University, is it? So not the I wait a second. So is the book has two publishers, is it?
No, only published by the university.
The one in university, but the other book that you've mentioned that you compared with is it with the same title or
Oh no, that one, the title is Money, I think. It is by a radio broadcaster.
oh
And
I
this one
see.
is by academician, so different. That one
Mm,
is by the broadcaster of Planet Money, an NPR
mm,
podcast.
mm,
So not an academician, but this one is a real academician. So he often talk about his own research. By the way, about the quote that he has asked, I have one here. Another argument in the book is that financial thinking is difficult. Crashes and bubbles seem to always take people by surprise. So over the centuries, people forget the lessons from the
mm.
previous crisis, and the crisis happen again and again.
Think so. People tend to forget about the crisis.
Question, yes. Why
They
do
left
people have,
trauma, but they forgot the lesson.
yeah, but so the big question is probably why do people forget valuable lessons from the economic crisis?
Does it leave?
Because
Does it explain about about the trauma or the bad experience that people would very much would love to forget about it? Maybe it's just coming up.
people do not want to be left behind by their neighbors. So if
Mm,
my neighbors become rich for a financial scheme, should I get left out from the party? Well, I have to join in, and let's think about the consequences later. I think that happens again and again.
mm,
Because if I don't join in with all these speculative instruments, I will become like a fool compared to the others. You don't join this new opportunity? What? And they call you a financial investor, something like that.
mm,
FOMO, fear of missing out.
Could be. I think greed is the essential cause. Greed.
mm. FOMO is a more hype word, and then it's very common nowadays to mention FOMO. But I think so. Great is the source of FOMO, is it? I think
I
greed
have a
is the
different
source.
opinion about greed though.
What's
Like
what's about greed? What about greed?
if there are people who don't have enough in their daily life, or they have just enough in their daily life, if they want to somehow get more money, it's not greed, right? Because they're in the state of they need the money. Greed is only applicable to those who are already rich, but they still need more money and do whatever it takes to get them. So I think greed doesn't applicable to regular people like us, for example. But do you agree, or what do you think about it?
Yeah, actually, the term greed itself doesn't appear in the book because the book is an objective view of history, and greed is about opinion, right?
Mm,
That's just my opinion. Maybe a better term for greed that people just said is self-interest. That is an economic principle people's self-interest will advance the good of the society. But greed in this case is excessive self-interest, meaning you know that it is risky from history and there has to be something wrong about it, but you keep going anyway. So that's what I mean with greed.
So I think so far so good. Any questions? Any more questions, guys? Okay, all good. So thank you, Donald, for presenting your book. Shall we move to, wait a second. Oh, I think it's my first time to see Uchla. Is that correct to pronounce your name?
It's correct.
Yeah. Okay, so I think it's your turn now to present your book. It's Courage to be Disliked. And if was it your book, Pipit, last 2 years? Okay.
Oh, really?
So I think yeah, I think Pipit was once Courage to be Disliked, but I'm sure it was 2022 because I haven't been with Book Brewers on 2023. So Ursula, please present the book then. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for the time, Miss Diaz. So I think I should really, if you like to see the book, I think you should just Google it. But let me read the introduction from the book. The Courage to be Disliked follows a conversation between a young man, and a philosopher, and they discuss the tenets of Adler's theories. Adler, a lesser-known 20th century psychologist, whose work spanned thought through Freud, as in Sigmund Freud, the father of psychology, and Carl Jung, and he believes in a liberating approach to happiness, in which each human being has the power and potential to live a happy and fulfilled life without worrying about the past or future. There, the reader is
Sorry,
empowered on
Uchla, I
journey
think
of
the voice is a bit
as
what do
he
you call,
grapples.
echoing sound. I heard some echoing sound.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
sorry. The audio
Uh,
might be like that.
I heard like an echoing sound, like it seems like you talk twice within several seconds.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi here
Oh.
is a little bit weird. Strange. I usually came in the cafe to not disturb my home Wi-Fi because a lot of people are using it. But how about now? Is it
Now
okay
it's
now?
now I think now it's better.
Okay, so let me continue again. Where was I? Let's just say the book tackles psychology. It explains Alfred Adler's psychology theory, and he attacks Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung about past, mainly about past, I guess, because this book really is clearly something. So I just read it because I wanted to see what the hype is about. I first saw it. Oh no! I first saw it on TikTok. It's one of the must-read books of 2023 or something. And then so I try it, and they say the book is it really reflects on society and how much they just wanted to not miss to tackle about fear of missing out. They wanted to become the pack of the rest from the rest. And I do agree somehow the book it's not really about courage about to be disliked. It's like happiness is being free from responsibility. I don't take responsibility. I just yeah, the book is something. It's just that it the book is presented in dialogue formats. If you ever read Sophie's Garden is a story about philosophy too, but it tackles a lot. But this one only tackles about adverse psychology. So it says that the past will not affect who you are today, and I don't agree with some of it. I say that maybe the past can hurt characters, but in this book, it really does tackle how psychoanalytics thinks that dreams and it manifests who you are. But this book says that you are who you are. Today is you are today is can be not you are today is different from you tomorrow, but you are today can be different from you are tomorrow. Depends on how you want to change your goals. They say that humans are flexible. The book says that humans are flexible and can change your goal at any time as long as you want it to be. I like about that book, but what I don't like about this book is that it. But if you can change who you are today, then what matters is the past. What matters does the past do to you? I think the book is very good if you understand a lot more about, if you are deeply, how to say, if you have knowledge, basic knowledge, again, your life, I guess. But if you have no prior knowledge again, Carl Jung or uh, Sigmund Freud, you might think that book is a little nihilistic. And I do agree, because the book says that it, the view of every psychology could be nihilistic at some point, because it really says that the past doesn't matter. And the book doesn't really tackle this and says, oh, you're thinking it wrong, but this is how you should think. But if the world already agrees that the past can be learned from, I think it's kind of hard to think to change your mind to say that the past really doesn't matter. So the golden nugget that I get from this book is that yes, I do agree that we as a human, have more potential that we really haven't known. We can change who we are today. We can change our personality right now, right here. I could be nice and then I could be evil at the second I meet another person. And sometimes we didn't realize that, but the book kind of reminded me that, yeah, we humans are all of the humans in this world. It could be double face, I think. And any quote from the book? This one strikes me. Trauma doesn't exist. I would like to meet a historian that would blow their mind if I was saying that, because this book really wanted to tell us that trauma and past doesn't really matter to me. With it, no, because if we didn't say that the past and you can change the present of your life, then again, what does it matter if the past is good or bad? You need to think about the future and the past too, as long as it's the present. It's kind of like a consequence of living, I guess. And I think that's it from the book. I give the book
If you can rate it.
3.8. Yeah, I rate it 3.8. It's good, but it's if you have no idea of psychology, I guess, if you have not many knowledge about psychology, this book kind of sounds nihilistic to me. It really does. I don't know why TikTok recommended it to me, but I guess if this is what people read these days, nihilistic and giving up.
So, Ujala, if I could summarize it, so even the book has the courage to be disliked, isn't it? Even me.
It is. It had the book is the courage to be disliked. You're gonna at some point dislike the book. Oh wow.
We still haven't.
And you can have that.
Okay. It's a very popular book because it has so many reviews, both on Goodreads and then also on Amazon.com. I think it's also translated to in bahasa Indonesia, I guess. And
I
then
don't know.
yeah. So any questions?
I have a question. So, Ukla, first, is there any way the book helped you with a personal problem? Like, there's got to be a reason why you read this book, right? That number one. Number two, they said famous quote from the book is the past doesn't determine the present and the future. Do you think you agree with this statement by the book that the past doesn't determine the past and the future?
The book helps me in small, I guess, small a little, I guess, yeah. It does help me thinking that, yeah, I guess I have the potential to kind of change the present if I wanted to. It kind of reminds me that I guess I kind of forget that I can make my life a little better by not being a, a procrastinator or by smiling a little bit every day. And then, but it doesn't really move me as much as I should do something. It gives you courage. That's it. It gives us courage to do something, but it doesn't tell us what to do with that courage. Yeah, that's the first one. And then the second, I disagree. I disagree completely. The past does matter because our knowledge from the past reminds us of our failures. For example, if we keep trying to befriend that one person, even though we know that we have no common interest, and then we just keep doing it again, for it's a tiny example, I guess. If we fail and then we keep doing it again, doesn't that mean that we don't do anything about the past? Or maybe because, for example, our family, if we stay at our family, we feel like we are never going to understand the world a lot better. So if we get out, I guess, from the box, from that past, we learn more about ourselves. And that's why if we keep stuck in that box, how are we going to understand the world a lot better? I guess that's why the past is important to me. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
In fact, in every job interview, they ask you what you did in the past to determine what are you going
Yeah,
to do in the future. So
imagine an interview where they didn't ask about your past experiences. That would be horrible.
that will be something.
Then you could say,
that
according to the book, the courage to be this like the past does not matter, doesn't determine the present and the future.
Yeah, that
which
is.
leads you to another argumentative session with the HR, perhaps. So thank you, Uchala, for sharing the courage to be disliked. So Edo, I think it's about your turn. So are you ready
Okay,
to present How to Stand Up to a Dictator? Okay, by Maria Reza. Okay, Edo, go ahead, please.
okay. So this book titled How to Stand Up to a Dictator is a book by Maria Ressa. Maria Ressa is uh, the founder of an independent media in the Philippines, the Rappler, must know, but then and she also the winner of Nobel Prize in Peace in 2021 or 2022. Uh, Okay, so this book is a memoir about her. So she talked about her life. First, she grew up in the Philippines until 7 years old. Then she go to America because her mother lived there with her new father. Then she started to adapt with the American culture, and there she also experienced some culture shock when she came from so Indian society, where society is different with the liberal society in the America. And there also she told about how her character developed there, about habit, about integrity, and about free speech, and about um, telling what is right, even if uh, even if the norm is to keep silent about it. So she tried to make a point that to be silent is to be complacent. So if you face into something that is against your value that you put, you have to speak about it. And then this is how the story starts about her facing a regime of a dictator in the Philippines, the Duterte regime. She talked about how the Philippine society rewarded respect with the authority, and about knowing your place, and about the ability uh, have uh, to have a neatness, to be submissive to the authority, to your teacher, and all. And how in US she experienced that it is an integrity that is valued, it is free speech that is valued, it is speak on behalf of yourself that is valued. Then in the 80s, she came back to Philippines to start her career as a journalist. She first recruited by the CNN, that is start to make their office in Philippines. The time when she come back to Philippines is the time that is coincident with the house of the previous Philippine long-lasting dictator, the Marcos regime, by people power. In there, she tried to understand that people actually have power to speak their mind, about to fight what is wrong, to fight a dictator, if they are if they are have enough solidarity for it. Then she developed her journalistic career there. She also uh, she also worked in other part of the world during the conflict period of the time to be a journalist for CNN. And what she learned from the Philippines back then, because after the Marcos Paul outfit, there is also several attempts in the coup d'etat for the government at the time. So so she learned that the first thing that the rebellious soldiers try to seize whenever they want to take over the government is to take over the radio and the television, because she thinks that the media has always been crucial in maintaining power, and also the airwave, the radio and the television is the first thing that they try to seize. The question. Before continuing about the key takeaway for the book, I will tell why I choose to read this book. I choose to read this book because in the past year, I tried to diverse my reading. So I tried to learn more from the people that is outside the mainstream media, instead the white male from the northern country. So I tried to read this book because she's a Filipino author that comes from the Philippines. So I want to see the point of view from her, and also how we share relativeness in the term of the culture, and how our political system here is. We share many things there. Then okay, coming back to the key takeaway. So fast forward to the 2010s. She resigned from CNN and determined to create her own platform. which is the Rappler, and try to be as independent as possible. She tried with the model of she tried to get away from the model of the conventional media at the time, which mainly use very expensive setup, which television network and radio network. She tried to make her media is to be a fully internet-based media with very cheap setup that at the time the smartphone and the internet is already proliferated, so she can send a journalist to the place faster than every other journalist from television can be, and also she have so many people stand by at each city in Philippines. So whenever there is an event, they can cover it and live stream it in the internet, and people can get to the information as fast as possible, faster than other conventional media. Then came the election in the Philippines. At that time, Rappler is one of the target of by the target of information operation that is done by the uh, by the by the politician at the time, the Duterte, that is trying to raise to power in the Philippine election. So at the time, Duterte used at the time the internet became very significant in our political life. So many people experience with the internet to drive the political result. It is the era of the experimenting with the internet to drive the election. We can see them in works in Brexit, in Trump election, and also in the Philippines and also Indonesia as well. So what she learned at the time is the information operation is enabled by how social network platform work, especially the big platform like Facebook, which is algorithmic based. So all the information stream is derived by the algorithmic, uh, and the traditional journalist is set aside because previously the traditional journalist is the one that is the gatekeeper for the information distribution. Now all this gatekeeping responsibility is taken away. And then she also experienced some criminalization attack by authority, and she told us how the criminalization is bad because it means that it brings fears that they never tell you about, that you can imagine infinite worst case possibility when you are criminalized by the authority, and sometimes you need a reality check at them. She referred to the scenario that could happen, like when the Nino Aquino assassinated in the 1993. He shot just when he get out of the plane, the tarmac. So when you get criminalized by the authority, you can start to imagine all the worst scenario that is possible. So that's it. Then there is a quote that I will share. This is okay. The quote is the quote that is quoted from other sources. So Maria Ressa quoted a word by Ursula K. Le Guin. It says that you thought as a boy that a magician is one who can do anything. So I thought one. So did we all. And the truth is, as a man power grows and his knowledge widens, ever the way he can follow grows narrower, until at last he chooses nothing, but does only what he must do. So she tried to tell that when you become, you have a freedom, but then you become, so your power grows in the mean that people more notice you. Then there is also other factor that try to limit your option, that try to burden you with all things, that then you have more narrower path that you can follow until at the time you have nothing, that you have no freedom at all. You just do what you must do. And he tried to tell that you always have a choice to be who you are, and she chooses as always to live by the value to define who she is, and she will not become a criminal to fight criminal. She will not become a monster to fight a monster. Yes. Okay, that is the book that I read about.
Thank you, Edo, for explaining the book from Maria Ressa. And then I looked up a bit in the internet, and I saw that she published 3 books actually. So what made you interested specifically with the How to Stand Up to a Dictator?
Yes, this one is her latest book published
Just
after
because it's the latest book, okay.
she received the Nobel Peace Prize, and this is more of a memoir of herself. So maybe the previous book is like a journalistic book, and this one is a memoir, more personal about her life, about her training.
I see. Any questions? Oh, I think Baimo mentioned what made you pick up the book. Is it the title, the author, or the cover? I think Edo mentioned that because he wants to widen up the range of the book he's currently reading. So he's trying, correct me if I'm wrong, yeah, Edo. He's trying to look up for another author and writer. So that's why he is interested in finding Asian, and then also from woman's point of view, is it? Anything to add on from what I can summarize? First the author, then the title. There you go. Any other questions?
Yes. So do you think the book is, well, I know it's memoir, right? So most likely it's very one-sided. But is there a part of the book that tried to somehow understand why Duterte, despite being a dictator, but also a popular dictator? Is there anything that probably she mentioned there's a middle ground in a way that, well, he did something right as well. However, is there anything that she mentioned Duterte was good at anything?
She's not praising the Duterte at all here. She even condemned Duterte, but she can tell how he become a populist leader. So this is explained by how the information operations played by the regime. So he employed some of the so-called buzzer that try to leverage his popularity, and all of this is analyzed by the data that is collected by her by their team. They call it the Shark Tank. So they try to investigate deeply about this information operation, and then she also present this evidence about the existence of information operation to the owner of the social media platform. She presented it herself to Mark Zuckerberg at the time, and try to tell the Zuckerberg that uh, the way that the Facebook arranged the information stream is very dangerous to the democracy, especially because it prize those with more attention than those with the clear fact. So she tells some of this evidence uh, about the information apparent that spread disinformation and all, and it is highly successful to leverage the popularity of Duterte.
But how about the fact that he got elected the first time? Because that time obviously he didn't have any power with the control of information. How did he get elected the first time?
He already have that power. So because at the 2010s marked by the first time this information operation is proliferated in the world. So it is the first time that most of the Filipino people is in the internet. At the time, is 95% Filipino people is in the internet, and the political people is try to take advantage of this and try to formulate the way to do this this information operation. So during that experimentation period, and also during that time, there is no gatekeeping enforced by the social media platform because it is unanticipated by them. The spread of hate speech, the spread of disinformation that is systematic is unanticipated by the social media platform. So all this became a wildfire at the time. And Duterte clearly took advantage of it since the early years, since before his nomination.
Okay. Does that answer the questions? Okay. So thank you, Edo, for presenting Maria Resa's book. And then yeah, just okay, Pipit mo.
Sorry, I want to present next because for the next 1 hour, I'll be passively listening. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So sorry, everyone, to force my way into this turn. So my book is The French Revolution, and this is from my favorite series of Witness to History. I read this book last year, we call it last month, but also last month, because I was in a race to fulfill my 12 books a year. Only 12 books a year, very minimum expectation from myself. But this is one of the books that I managed to finish in just within a short period of time reading. And for those who did not come the last month, in the last month meeting, I said that I like this series called Witness to History because they actually give excerpts from diaries of famous people, daily, ordinary people, military generals. So a lot of these interesting resources to talk about perspectives of certain incidents, certain historical events, basically. So for example, this book is The French Revolution. In it, they have diaries of the King Louis XVI. We actually can read one of the diary entry of his, and then the diary of Marie Antoinette, and the diary of Napoleon Bonaparte. So that's what made me interested in reading about Witness to History. And why the French Revolution? Because there were only 2 left in the series that I have not read from my library, of the school library. So the French Revolution and the Rise of Hitler, I read both of them, but this time I will present about the French Revolution. I like it so that was the reason why I read it and why I like it. But the part that I don't like about the book is because the book is short, right? Only 60 pages. There are parts that I really want to know why, and I think this is the key moment, that why it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't explain it. So there are a lot of question marks that I put in this book that I wanted to research further, and I promised myself to research further. For example, the reason why I want to read about history is usually because I see there are a certain historical event which is important, usually started with one good thing or one bad thing. So if it's a huge mistake, it's only started with only a minor mistake, and then it somehow snowballed into a catastrophe, right? If it's good thing, it usually started with one good thing and then snowballed into something good. And this is what I could find in this book. For example, the reason how the French Revolution started, I found here, is because when King Louis XVI started to rule France in 1774, suddenly he wanted to increase taxes to raise more money for his government. Okay, but I think this is supposed to be analyzed further. Why he wanted to increase this the money for the government and by increasing taxes? Because obviously this is the reason why then the chain of events suddenly set off into the French Revolution. So unfortunately, the book did not say why he wanted to raise the taxes, particularly quite high in that year. And there were 3 estates in France that time. The first estate was the clergy. So people in the religion, the leaders in religion. And the second estate are the nobles, the nobility, bangsawan. And the third estate was the poor city dwellers, peasants, and like the middle class and under. So when he wanted to raise tax, obviously he could not tax the churches that time. Second, he did not want to annoy or anger the nobles by taxing them highly or reducing their income. So his last target was the easiest target, the third estate, basically. So he wanted to raise the tax, and his target to raise the tax is actually the peasants, the poor city dwellers, and also middle class and under. It was totally stupid, right? I mean, how he could not see that coming, that people would rise up against him. In my opinion, it was very stupid. So because he did not want to anger the noble people, that he decided to tax highly towards the poor citizens. And to add another stupid decision that came out of him was that he used to have censorship law. Okay, so any complaints or any criticism that came out of the people were actually suppressed by the government of, the king basically. In 1788, suddenly he decided to suspended this censorship law. Well, I know it's a good thing now that we look back, right? But it was not a smart decision by him. Knowing that he came out in a very unpopular decision of raising tax, he coupled that up with, now you can complain. Do as you wish. It's like a recipe of disaster in a way. So I think like I put here, why? Although other times he could have done it, he did it during when people complained the most. So because of the suspended censorship law, a lot of pamphlets calling for changes, like that we need to change this crazy setup, this like that, started to flood the street of the cities and reach the countryside. So these two combination, I think, the one that kick-started the French Revolution, where the peasants and the poor people of the France rose up to change the system of the government. Yeah, no longer about king and queen, but they turned it into an actual government elected by the people. And then there's a quote here, the diary from an ordinary peasant here said, "The ordinary people of France worked hard to scrape out a living, and they soon began to realize that the government cared very little about them." So this is one of the diaries of the peasant. And then another thing, there's so many, but and also it was amazing how disillusioned the king of France and also Marie Antoinette, the wife. So in their diary, they talk about how the people loved them so much, which was totally not the case. That actually one particular instance is Marie Antoinette's letter to her mom. Yeah, so this letter to her mom, it said, "What a happy thing indeed it is for the person in our rank to gain the love of a whole nation so cheaply," she said. So she claimed to her mom that she gained the love of a whole nation so cheaply, she said, which was totally not the case. People hated her, right? And also the king said how he made a lot of sacrifices and a lot of people owe me their welfare, things like that, which was also totally not the case. Another thing that I would like to point out is that how the French Revolution was very consistent in their struggle and their fight. Because the leader of the French Revolution, when he started to show acts of dictatorship, he also ended up in the guillotine or being, punished with death sentence, basically. So I kind of admire it in a way that they can see that the revolution is the most important thing. So even the leader of revolution, when is seen as betraying the spirit of revolution a few years after that, then he also got the same fate like the king, became punished with a death sentence. Yeah. So I think that's the part. And also they talk about the rise of Napoleon that was set with this French Revolution. But I think it's a talk for another day because the rise of Napoleon deserves a book by itself. So it's a little bit unfair to just put it here as an insert. But that's what I learned from this book, basically. Then another thing is the golden nugget from the book. I think if we somehow have a position to be in a higher power, I think we should be able to be grounded in a way. So if you can imagine, if you are the king, probably you're surrounded by the yes men, right? So, oh yeah, people love you. Oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. So, which is totally not the case. So I'm afraid this will create like a bubble of information of its time. So the people in higher places, they don't really know what is actually going on the ground. So they totally have a different version of the world in their head, basically. This is probably one of the reasons why the king and the queen were so out of touch and made the wrong decision. Yeah. So I think that's the biggest golden nugget I can learn from this event. And that is it. Wait, any quote? Let me find one. Only one quote. Quote is, oh, when the king was, his head was chopped by the guillotine, there was a poem written about it. And it says, he, beholding for the last time the rays of the glorious sun beaming on the polished axe. Okay. So beholding for the last time the rays of the glorious sun beaming on the polished axe. So that the axe was cleanly polished, I guess, and beaming from of the sun reflected on it. So that was the quote that I could find. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Pepe. If I read that book, I would have like a what do you call it? Like an inner curse when I read that book, like a silent inner curse, like what's happening? What's happening? Why? That's only my personal opinion. Any questions? Okay, Mbak Gusti.
Okay. Well. Did the king make the decision by himself, or did he controlled or dipengaruhi ya, influenced by other sides? And then the second question is, aduh, lupa sih tadi. Wait. Oh yeah, you said that the revolutionary was also given death sentence, yeah, by the public, yeah. Who I forgot the name, who and why, what kind of betrayal that he did that made people punish him with severe sentence like that. Thank you.
Okay. The king was very young. That's probably one of the reasons that he somehow was careless in his decision.
How old
So
was he?
yeah, I think 20 something. Yeah, 20 something was the first time he got into throne. The book did not mention this, but I read about it, that the King Louis XVI was very young when he became the king. So maybe that's one of the reasons. And whether or not he was influenced by others, I can only imagine because the book did not say it. But I can tell that he was so afraid of the people who are supposed to be under him directly, like the nobility, for example. So he says that he was afraid to anger the nobles, for example, knowing fully well that he has power over them. So I think because maybe he's young and inexperienced, and also, surrounded by a lot of these people, maybe somehow his decision was affected by that. So again, the stupid decisions such as only raising the taxes of the poor people, but not the taxes of the noble, for example, that's clearly a misplaced policy, right? So I think I can only imagine if he's influenced by the people around him. But this leader of revolution who got executed is because he killed too many people. And it's called the Reign of Terror. So basically, there were two types of supporters of the revolution. The first one is the one who is extreme, like we want to get rid of everyone who are remotely noble, or even their servants, or who, as seen, have a tendency to support the nobility. Like even there's no room for difference in opinion, I would say, in this case. So for example, if you show some affection to a nobility, maybe you love someone or something, you get killed too by this called Robespierre. So Robespierre, right? So because his ruthlessness, he is seen as being counterproductive to the revolution. Yeah. So that's the reason how he ended up as a despotic, aka dictator government. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions? Or shall we move to yes, no.
Question. Why do you think the result of or the aftermath of the French Revolution is different from the American Revolution? In American Revolution, the people are united, the revolutionaries more or less united. But in French Revolution, it seems to be very chaotic. And even among the revolutionaries themselves, they are very, as you mentioned, there is reign of terror. And it ended only with the rise of a dictator, Napoleon. So why it's different?
I think probably this is just my opinion, right? Because the book did not say anything related to this. They saw this chaotic struggle to better country is normal, basically. So the struggle to be a better country actually demand a lot of sacrifices in terms of blood and money, things like that. Is considered normal to them. That's why until now, French is famous for their riots, right? Whenever there are unjuk rasa, they still carry the spirit of French Revolution with them. So they don't really care if the city somehow end up in a mess, for example, as long as they, get their ideas across or something like that. So I guess the difference is, I think in United States, they have really good, apa sih namanya in English ya? Teladan, paragon, for example. Like George Washington was a really good paragon of liberty, right? So that's why somehow people, even without him being a dictator, people still followed his suggestions and with all of these Federalist Papers. So they tried to appeal to the people with reasons, basically. With this, if you are familiar with a really good book called the Federalist Papers, this is a list of pamphlets that were distributed to the society, that this is why we need a good Republican government. That's why they call it Republican government that time, and blah, blah, blah. So they took the time to actually educate people about the revolution. But in French Revolution, I think they focus more on the physical side, like they kill the king and all the nobility, even the clergy people. So it's just like very barbaric way to rise up against the authoritarian government. So that's why I think that's why the results are different.
Okay. So thank you, Pipit, for the French Revolution. Since I missed the last French Revolution explanation from you, so will there be another sequel?
No, the
for
next one
this.
will be the rise of Hitler.
Okay, thank you, Pipit. So, Mbak Gusti, can we start with your book? I also ordered this Things Left Behind by Kinsey Biol, but it hasn't arrived yet. So I'm really curious about your explanation. So please do.
Okay. So this is the book. I read it in Ipusnas on Ipusnas. So why did I choose this book? Because at first I only just hear a glimpse about this book, not really familiar, just knowing like random information about this book. Like there is a Korean drama titled Move to Heaven, and it was one of the most popular Korean drama in Netflix in 2021. That the drama was inspired by this book. Yeah, so and then the story was unique. There is a company that clean up the peninggalan of the people who had died alone in their room. They call themselves trauma cleaner because for the family to clean up the room by themselves is sometimes is a traumatic, right? So because of that, the company help those families to clean up those items of their deceased family. And why I read this, because this book was so popular in Upusnas. Like there are more than 3,000 people lining up for this book, and I was so curious with the popular books, and I tried my luck to queuing, and then beyond my expectation, I can get it. Like, yeah, after months of queuing, I can get it, and then like satisfy my curiosity about this book. And what I like about this book is really unique, yeah. It told us about the like maybe like strange perception of the South Korean about death, because in Indonesia, if our neighbors, if there are our neighbors that pass away, we will go to their house, and then we will send our condolences, and then we will like give the money, uang duka cita, and then we will give them like some like oil, rice, sembako, something like that, to to support the family of the deceased. But in here, it is told that the Korean uh, perceives death as a misfortune. So if there are people in the neighborhood died, they will say, why did these people have to die besides my besides my house? They took it as like a misfortune, like there's no empathy. And I was like, are you human? Something like that. And then uh even the company itself, well, they works to help people, right? They works to help people, because to cleaning up the remainings of the disease is really a hard job, because like it's so rotten. And then some and most people that die alone was depressed. So like they live so many trashes everywhere piling up, and then it's really like it's needs a how hours of job, hours of work. And then but they got no sympathy from the people surround them. Like there was like they were pushed away, and then they cannot park uh, in the nearest location. And then when they come to the restaurant, some restaurant will reject them, and then after that throwing them with the salt to purify the misfortune, because they think that they thought that the ghost they believe that the cause of the disease will follow those workers. Like if we, and then it's not only following the workers, but they also believe that the cause of the disease will follow the family of the disease. So it's like strange, really strange perception about that, and that is what I don't like about this book. So what I dislike about this book is not the author's fault. It is just the content, like the dark side of the South Korean society that I don't like in this book. And but what I like for this book is like how the author contemplating many things to with about his job after doing his job. Like he said that because he handled so many case of people who are died of suicide and then dying alone, or there are like old people died because died of loneliness, or died like they hid their disease from their family. He said like he appreciate his togetherness with his own family. Like when he was with his children, he becomes like he treasured the moments more, because he know that even those simple moment was not like many people cannot taste those simple moment. Yeah. And then the golden nugget from this book is like, yeah, like, well, what is it, like we have to grow empathy towards the people that is died, and then the people that is uh the people and the family they left behind, because it's really hard to lose the people that we love, right? And then like uh we have to be more get in touch with other people, so we will not die alone. So we will know that our friends will not die alone. We will know that there is something wrong with them. So if they have like suicidal thoughts, we can mencegah, apa mencegah,
Prevent.
yeah, we can prevent sorry, we can prevent them, something like that. So we will not be like in Korea, like in South Korea, it like it 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 looks like a glamour country, right? Like so K-pop and then K-drama, so glamorous, but actually those people living there are so lonely. And maybe because of that, this book can so many popularity towards the Korean, because like maybe it opens their eyes about how wrong they perceive the concept of death. And the quote from the book I want to share is this is uh if the children lost their parents, they will not hug the body of their parents. And in here, in this case, the body of their parents is already rotten, because it can be found like after 2 weeks after they died, or maybe months after they died. Like the neighbor even don't know that their neighbor are died. And then the continuation of this quote, but if the parents lost their children, they will hug the body of their children. So Kim Sae-pyeol, the author of this book, witnessed so many cases when many parents, like they are crying while hugging the rotten bodies of their children without any feeling disgust, because for them it's not a corpse. For them it's their children, even though they already died. And then the irony of this book is there are so many children that didn't care about their deceased parent. They only care about the treasures, about the inheritage the parents left for them. So like they rate the room not to help to clean up, but they only search for the money, and then they search for any home certificate, something like that. And then they even throw the photo of their parents. Well, actually, the parents stick the certificate of their house behind the photo. And then the children was so ashamed when they found about it. Yes, I think it's enough for me.
Thank you, Gusti. So have you watched the
Yes.
series as well?
I haven't yet.
Because I assume that there must be a difference or some differences between watching the series, because I do recommend it, because it's not like the long, if you're familiar with the K-drama, it's always between 16 to 20 episodes, right? But this one is only 8. And then just like, I think we do all know that Netflix has their best when they're making limited series. So if the number of episodes is less than 10, usually it's good. Usually it's popular, and usually it gains worldwide attention. So I do recommend to watch that one as well, because then you can compare whether there's a lot of differences between what Kim Tae-byul wrote about the book, and then what the Netflix translated into a movie. So then you do know which one is the drama thing and which one is the reality thing. So any questions from the others?
Yeah, I have a point.
Yes, Donald, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Gusti.
Hmm.
So yeah, that sounds extreme to me, as you explained how they are so cruel, yeah, to people who lost their family. So I'm curious, is there like a national belief or something that motivate? How can they have this kind of strange thinking? Maybe they have like in their national history there is a trauma or something that make people believe this kind of.
This book didn't mention anything about that. It's only mentioned that they believe like a superstitious belief that they thought the ghost of the deceased will follow the people who come to the place of the deceased.
Sorry, is it only for natural death or only for suicide or all kinds of death?
In here, is it like all deaths? All deaths. Yeah.
Eh, uh, but in the movie, if I can answer a bit to Donald, because in the movie itself, it portrays um, all kinds of deaths. So it's the story told about the natural deaths because of the sickness, and then another natural deaths because of aging, and then another one is the young ones who got depressed, and then finally suicide, or um, get killed by someone, and then the plot twist is got killed from someone who they really love. So it portrays every kinds of death. But if I could add a bit, because I also asked one of my colleagues regarding this, because most of the majority of the South Koreans, they have this ideal life where they have a long happy life until they reach 100, 110. That's mostly their main goals. They have they live wealthy, they have spouse, and then they have children, and usually they're hoping for one boy and one girl, because why these they're thinking that they're thinking that woman can take care of them when they got older, and one boy for doing the military service, because it's still part of their duty. So they have this very ideal, and it's been their dream since long time. So when that's happened out of nowhere, and then before they reach their goals, it seems like a major loss. And so it creates a very different perspective. It creates a very different opinion between them and us, because we do think that, well, that's happened. It's part of life, but it's not that case. So, well, it's I think it's a bit sensitive, but it's also open up our minds, I guess, because then we do know that there are lots of other thinkings that exist actually in this world. So thank you for bringing up this book, Bagusi, because now I have to ask my seller. I have to I have to track down the delivery until when am I going to receive this book. It's also because out of curiosity, I would like to know about this trauma cleaner, because it's a very new point of view. There's no I think I have never I for me, I never knew that there was this kind of book previously about trauma cleaner. So
I think it is the only company that work
mm,
in this field.
yeah, because we do think that it's all always been taken care of families, but nowadays families comes in all different forms, and then again we not all families are the actual families. So
Uh,
it's um it's a different thing nowadays. So any other questions?
Yes, I have one. What is trauma cleaner, by the way? Could you explain, please?
Can you explain?
Trauma cleaner means sometimes cleaning the remaining items of or deceased family is become apa is traumatic, right? And because of that, this company tried to minimize those trauma by helping the families to clean them up. So to decrease the trauma of the family, because they don't need to touch and then see the remaining and the memories of the items left by their parents or their family.
So
So
basically,
trauma cleaner,
yeah.
are they cleaning the physical remainings like the house and they're throwing the belongings of the deceased? Or are they cleaning the emotional trauma of the people who are left behind?
They actually cleaning the physical belonging of the people, because the author said that when his father died, he couldn't stand it to clean the items of his father by himself, and then because of that he thought, like, if there is a people there are people that can help me, it will be so helpful. And because of that uh he start this family this company.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Mamita, if I can add, so the term of trauma cleaner itself, it's a bit some people say it as a bit exaggerating, because it's not merely about trauma, but if someone from our close friends or our close families die, then the person who lives near them, or someone the person lives close to them, they will feel very reluctant, they will feel very sad if they have to clean up their things that the deceased left behind. So it might brings up a painful memory, or it might cause them feeling very sad and unable to do other things that as usual. So the cleaner is someone who helped them to pack their things and then organize their things. So for me, in my point of view, it's like Marie Kondo, but Marie Kondo is for all the cheerful things, right? For the all the joyful things. But this is specifically for someone who got left behind by someone's death. So um there has no been better terms for trauma, but then the trauma was the word that they choose to describe about this position and about this job.
Actually, Marie Kondo once helped a woman whose husband passed away, and she
Mm-hmm.
couldn't throw away his belongings. So
Yeah.
Marie Kondo created a strategy for her to one by one and step by step get rid of the belongings of her former or her dead husband. It was really difficult, so it was not easy at all. So she had to stop, she had to move to different rooms, she had to move to other things. And I think this job, this trauma killer or the healing, the trauma healer or the healing people, they are necessary in our lives, because to forget about those who passed away is not an easy thing for everyone. Yeah, so Mary Kondo has done that, and she did it successfully. And it was a long process, but after what she's done, the woman whose husband passed away, she could create her home to become her own, and she became healed, and she could move on. So that's a good thing.
I saw that series as well, and then Marie Kondo was the one who encouraged the wife, right, to clean up. But for trauma cleaner is the one who replace all those things. So the person did not touch their things directly. So I think that's the difference between trauma cleaner and Marie Kondo. So I think that sums up.
I just sorry, don't understand why they didn't just hire regular cleaner with totally the same results.
Because you can add on later on, Bagusti, but what I understand from watching the series is because the usual cleaner feel um
Disgusted.
might feel uneasy and disgusted when cleaning up some of the deceased belongings, and then some might touch it with a very afraid feeling. They feel scared. Oh
Yeah.
my God, this is a wallet from someone who just passed away last week, something like that. So it's a different thing between cleaning cleaning up.
Really? I would
So
totally kill the job though. Like it's I can probably apply to the company.
if why don't you start the business yet? Because
Right?
I haven't heard if there's any such business here in Indonesia. Usually it's been taken care of by the families. So
But actually, the author said that it doesn't pay so well. It doesn't pay so well. It doesn't pay so well for him, and because of that, he always warned the people that wanted to work with him, because people thought that this is the only company, right? So you will get many jobs, many much money, but then he also said that we didn't get that much money, and then the stigma is bad, something like that. And also about why I want to add why they didn't hire regular cleaner, because in this book it is described that uh the like the people the person when the person died on like on a bed, and it like uh and it left like 2 weeks or months after that, and then after the body removed, there's still like the liquid of the corpse still remains on the bed, and it's really rotten. It's really rotten. It's and I feel like ew, like oh my god, I cannot imagine that. And they clean it up with their procedure, with their standard procedure of cleaning. And I think not all regular cleaner know how to handle those kind of things. Yeah, because yeah, it's really rare for people to clean those things. Yeah.
Thank you, Mbak Gusti. Any other questions? Or Mbak Mita, are you ready to present the book?
Is this my turn now? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. My book is not as fascinating as Gusti's book regarding the trauma cleaner. However, I'm glad that I got a chance to share with all of you. So Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
And the book that I'm sharing today, it's called The Miracle of Love, and it is a part of Chicken Soup for the Soul. Has anyone read any collections from Chicken Soup of the Soul?
Yes, in middle school.
In junior high school.
So it's like a
Since junior high school, yeah.
It's a long time ago. Actually, I just found out during our holiday break. I wanted to read books, and I found out that I still have a lot of books I haven't read. This book was bought in November 2019, and I haven't even finished the book. I just started reading and then moved to another book, so I forgot about this. So, um, let me read the summary of this book on the back of the book. The miracle of love can happen when you least expect it. In new relationships, can you guys hear my voice?
It's audible. It's clear for me.
Okay, I think I. The miracle of love can happen when you least expect it in your relationships and in old ones, at any age and any stage of life. This consists of 101 true personal love stories about hope, soulmates, and new beginnings. Love happens, and the stories of dating and romance, proposals and weddings, second chances at any age will put a smile on your face. Whether you're in a long standing relationship or looking for your soulmate, you will enjoy these stories of true love, serendipity, and destiny. So, the reason why I chose this book in addition to my holiday break, as you know that I've been meaning to become a book author. So the book that I'm working on right now is about conscious leadership, and I'm in the process of editing it for the layout, the designs, and after that going to Mike Nicholson's again for the English version, and after that to Mbak Imung or Mbak Ria for the content editing. And after that, going to the offset printing, and hopefully by next month, book launch. And what about after that? So I'm thinking about writing a family book about the marriages, about the parenting, about the siblings, about nuclear family and extended family. So this is like one of the resources that I'm using. And what is this that I love about this book? All the stories have happy endings, and this book makes me believe in love again, that there are 101 true personal love stories that actually work. And one of them was like, let me share this about a story of a lady whose husband passed away. Before my husband Mark died, he shared explicit instructions about how I should go on living without him because her husband had cancer. So they knew that he was going to die. And her husband said, promise me you'll date again. You have too much to offer and you shouldn't spend your life alone. Don't stop living while you're still alive. You need some fun in your life. So he remembers her husband's message, and one day he met somebody named Tom, through his neighbor, and he started dating again, and then he was, what do you call it, she had doubt, but they finally started dating and dating again, and then they started talking more about their future together looks like, how brother they are, and they believe that there is divine intervention assisting us. Love found us. So that's just one of the stories of the miracle of love. However, what I don't like about the books, other stories are too long and they don't get to the climax of the story soon. So I don't get what is the message here, what's the conclusion, and what's the golden nugget from the book. And that's what I don't like about some of the stories. So I haven't finished all 100 stories, but I read like some of them are very good, but one or two I cannot understand. And what's the golden nugget from the book that I got? Basically, never ever give up in love. And you will find love in unexpected places. Because I remember that there is one lady who met her husband because she was walking on the beach and there is another guy just standing on the beach, and they got to know each other, and this lady is a widower and the guy is also, his wife passed away, and they became lovers and finally they got married. So I think the serendipity theory works. There is divine intervention, the synchronicity works. There is always a divine coincidence in life. Actually, I met my on and off to your relationship boyfriend when I was having coffee. So it was a divine intervention. But it's not like in the book when everything ended up in marriage again, second marriages. But I think I believe in serendipity because of this book and because of the reality. And recently, in the beginning of this year, my Toastmasters Kabayaran Long Friend Ira or Fajria, she met somebody when she was having dinner with her friend. Like there were these two guys asking if they could join my friend and her friend. And now they became boyfriend and girlfriend because my friend, she got divorced and she's looking for someone who could be her, not soulmate, but the love, a new love. So now they're considering about getting married, even though it's only been 3 months. They feel they're connected intellectually, emotionally, and also physically. They live in the same area in Jakarta. So logistically, it's convenient to date every day and to get to know each other every day. But there is a challenge, such as differences in faith and belief. However, because she's adult and the other guy is also adult, like 50 years old and 60 years old, so I believe it is easier to find the commonalities and the solution for these interfaith marriages in comparison when you are younger and the parents have a lot of issues or a lot of decisions in your marriage. So I see that there is a miracle in this new kind of relationship. Actually, when you're adult, the complexities of interfaith marriages or the complexities of differences could be talked as adult and could be learned and discussed. So that's what I learned from this book. And my favorite quote from this book is, a successful marriage isn't the union of two perfect people. It is that of two imperfect people who have learned the value of forgiveness and grace. I totally agree with this because dating at my age, 50 years old, I just learned love is about forgiving and accepting. It takes a lot of forgiving more than your relationships with other people, even with your parents or your siblings. You need to forgive your partner, your husband, your spouse, your wife more than the other people. I think that's my book, and I will get back the control to Diaz, our moderator today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mbak Mita. So about forgiving, it reminds me personally about well, in every Lebaran then we have to at least it's a reminder that Lebaran is about 2 months away. So why not start from now to forgive forgive your loved ones. So any questions for Miracle of Love? So it's a nice shift because from Bagusti mentioning about death and trauma cleaners, now it's another optimism of Miracle of
Now trauma maker.
Love.
After trauma cleaner become trauma maker by Mbak Mita.
Just a question, Bariska, do you have any books to share? Just
No, I'm here just to listen.
okay. Okay. Any questions about Miracle
I
of
have
Love?
a question, Mbak
Sure.
Mita. So since the book mentioned about why forgiveness is what is it called? The most important part of relationship, is it?
It's my favorite quote
Your
from the
favorite
book.
quote?
I haven't read the whole story. It says that a successful marriage isn't the union of two perfect people, but it is that of two imperfect people who have learned the value of forgiveness and grace.
Yeah.
So,
What if one of them is more perfect than the other? So the one has to be the one keep on forgiving, and the other one keeps on making mistake. What is the dynamic about that?
anyone who's in relationships or who's married can help me with this question, please. I don't, no, nobody would help me. Okay.
I
In my
cannot help. I want to help, but I cannot. So please
okay.
do help me as well.
Okay, Pipit, this is just my personal opinion. I agree with this quote because it says, in a successful marriage, there are two imperfect people, not just one. So both of them, both of us are imperfect, and we need to be conscious of that. We need to be aware. That's the reality. Actually, none of us in relationship is perfect. Both are imperfect. And that's the number one step. And because none is perfect, then everyone is obligated to forgive in a way that because we have the same shared common goals, which is to love and to be loved in return. I think that's my answer.
Yeah, it was just a joke, Mbak Mita. But I agree with you about the goal. Yeah, so I guess they have the same goal and focusing on the same goal, then whatever the challenges is, then I hope they can tackle them, right?
Yes, I agree. And for me, to learn that forgiveness is the number one ingredient is actually a bit late because I'm 50. But guys, so the younger ones, please remind yourself forgiveness is really, really important. Keep forgiving, 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 as long as you know that both of you love each other and have the same share common goals, which is to love and to be loved in return.
Bagusti, your turn to ask. Has been raising hand.
So amongst the stories that you have read, which one is the strangest story, or like the most impossible story? Like it feel like impossible love, but it happened.
Like the too good to be true
Yeah,
or
not
the
too
fairy tale?
not too good to be true, but it's like so strange that we feel like it can be like that. It can happen. Like so, like beyond our expectation, like blowing, mind blowing.
I haven't found anything that is like strange here.
Normal lah, itu normal.
Because everything can happen in this book.
Like what kind of strange are you expecting, Gusti? Like someone who died for 7 years suddenly return back home and find out that the spouse already married again.
If we said about miracle, it feels miracle means like something something happens when it's not should
Expected, yeah.
happen, when it
Mm.
should happen, but it happened because it's miracle.
Oh, that's a good point. If there's no such thing as that, the book doesn't deserve to be called miracle, Kak Vita.
Mbak Pepe.
Oh, she's gone.
I think it's some connections because suddenly she's gone, right? Suddenly Mbak Mita gone. So guys, I think I would need just like 5 minutes to present my book. I've mentioned that I'm going to be the last presenter since I'm moderating this session. So currently I'm reading 3 books. One is Guns, Germs, and Steel, but this one is the translated one to Bahasa Indonesia. The second is The Dawn of Language, How We Came to Talk by Sir Kerr Johansson, and the other, but those two was skipped along the way because I have to read something that's related to hospitality industry. So I think I'm going to present that one instead. And also because I think it has some point of views that it might lead to another discussion. So I'm currently reading this one as well. Wait a second. I'll show you. I'll show you the cover. So I'm reading the Cornell School of Hotel Administrations on Hospitality. This is the cover. So basically I get the chance to relearn again about hospitality industry, and then all the main ideas of giving a good service and the exceptional service, and then what makes hospitality is basically everywhere, service is basically everywhere, but it's very intangible that you can feel the difference between, for example, having a dinner in restaurant A and having a dinner in restaurant B. Then you can feel the difference. Okay, I would about this book. Wait a second, yeah. Okay, the short intro about the book and why I chose to read it is because I'm currently handling a project which needs more comprehensive understanding about hospitality, even though um it's been kind of what I've been doing for the last you could say a good 10 years, and but I still feel the needs to learn and then to keep on keep on having an open mind of what are the things that might been missed from all these experiences that I have had before. And then the one thing that I like about this book is because it's kind of basic back to basic things, and then it reminds me about the very ground stories about the service and about the hospitality. And what I don't like about the book, basically I don't have anything that I hate about the book. It's just well, the book is only limited because well, I do know the reason, because it's published by Cornell University, so I'm guessing that it's only for their education purposes only. And then the golden nugget from the book is they very highlighting about the humans of sorry, about the importance of human services. So even though in this AI industries where everything is basically based on technology, you still need you still need a customer service, which is a person, an actual person, not an AI that will help you to get the service. So any quote that I would like to share, maybe it's not really a quote, but it's this book opinion, that they have this kind of opinion that humans is above the products, while I think both humans and the product should be equal. Because for example, if you're coming to a hotel and then you find out that for example, the air conditioner is not working, the shower is not working, the bed is very bad, the there are some issues with the buildings, meaning that it's a product failure, right? But if the one who serves you well, if the hotelier really helps you, would you still be would you still consider having a night in that hotel, or would you just, okay, I'll just move out, I will just change another hotel? Maybe the service is so, but at least I can sleep well, at least the air conditioner is working. So that those two things is still kind of, well, they've been debating this, especially for the last 1 week on my mind. So that's what I can explain about this book. Oh, Mbak Mita, you're back. I was
Sorry
just using,
for the
no
low
worries,
bat.
no worries. I was just using the moment when you're gone to explain a bit about my book.
Sorry.
No worries.
Okay, dear.
So the questions can be for another one for Mbak Mita, or if you have any questions regarding the book that I just present a bit.
Yeah, I have a question. Oh, yes. Is there anything else that is unexpected that you learned from the book that surprised you?
Okay, so because this book is I think it's because it's part of the university publishing. This is a very theoretical material for someone who's learning hospitality. So I also came to a surprise that they have this specific chapter about a financial budget. So training, I always I well I do know that training costs lots of money, but I never knew that it would cost this much of money, especially when training a person, when training a batch of people who's going to do a service. I always thought that making technology was always something that costs highly, but it turns out that managing people and then training people to have this standardized of human service, or especially when it comes to hospitality, then I think the top of mind will think immediately about hotel, where you can be treated very well. You will be you'll get the very best of their service. It's very costly, and it takes lots of learnings, especially about languages, and then languages, and also one thing is about gesture. So it I always knew it, but I never really realized that how costly is it. Thank
Follow-up
you.
question, please.
Sure.
Why is it difficult to train human? Is it that difficult to train us to be nice to other people?
Surprisingly, it's hard because everyone raised differently, whilst having this standardized of human service, it needs to have this certain level of nice, and then this certain level of nice might be different between each and every one of us. For example, if you're um will well for example, there are some people that's okay if the customer service didn't say thank you for them, well, it's okay. They at least they do their job. But for certain industry, it's a big no-no. Thank you is a mandatory greeting after having the service. So it's that different point of view is it's what makes it challenging actually, from what I've been reading.
Interesting.
Kind of.
Yes.
So it's kind of headache for me as well to read this, but it's okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
In regards to human resources, I'm surprised that it costs highly because nowadays, if you see that you can find a lot of free trainings, free courses online. So, what makes it costly? That's my question.
What makes it costly is because first, the trainer for someone who's going to give lessons for communications is not cheap, and although it has lots of free training, free courses for everyone who would like to learn, but maintaining the high level of quality, that's another story, um which surprisingly very costly, because then you need to from this book they also mention about having a auditor. So if you're, I think if you're working in a financial institution, that you have this bunch of auditor who audits your finance, right? They do analyze this company financial things, whether it's having a break even point or having um decrease, what do you call, between untung and
Deficit.
rugi, they're making calculations and stuff like that. But if it's also happening in the hospitality industries as well. So they are this institution of all the auditors, hotel auditors especially, that they are hired to go to the 5-star hotels, to 6-star and even 7-star, just to audit their level of service. So whether they follow the sequence of service or not, whether they have this customer's touch point or not. So um it's very costly and it takes lots of details. So that's why it's very expensive.
I understand now
Mm,
because it's a continuous program, not just one time. That's what makes
mm,
it
mm,
actually costly. So
that's right.
the hospitality industry might have to have a human resources partner, a long-term partner, or they might want to use their customers to help them to be their long-time partner to cut the cost or to have like more win-win situations
Mhm,
if it's a long-term relationship. Yeah.
mhm, mhm. So, and then the bigger the chain, or the bigger the company, and of course it gets even more difficult um to maintain this level of service quality. So maybe you can well, Accor Group, for example, they have lots of international hotel chains. They do have specific standard of giving level of service, and to maintain it, they have their very specific budgets to maintain and always to keep people coming back for more, because it's very intangible, but yet it feels different when you come to this hotel and a hotel B. Then you do know the difference. You do know which one makes you feel a lot safer and a lot more home feeling. So it's
Sorry, Diaz, to interrupt. My next class start in 2 minutes.
okay,
So
sure.
if there are actually one of the students already.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob,
Yep.
can you leave first? We'll take a
Ah,
photo.
okay.
Okay.
So yeah, I think this is the end of our session. Wait,
Take photo
Take photo.
first.
okay, wait. Oh, is that your student?
Yes. Singapore.
Hmm.
Well, take. Oh, wait, let me. Okay. 1, 2. Salah. Bentar. 1, 2. Okay. Got it.
So thank you everyone for joining this session, and
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you,
It's
everybody.
my
You.
re-debut.
Yes.
So next month,
Welcome back.
yeah, for the next month, is it going to happen on the
February 10th.
February
February
10th?
10th.
Okay then.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you guys. Have a great weekend. Bye bye.
See you.